Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, long time no talk, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. I do want to get back to my regularly scheduled programming, including talking about what I saw and heard at the Britney Spears hearing a few weeks ago, including my response to the Steve-O and Bam Margera fiasco of a podcast that they put out on the internet on purpose the other day. But before I get to that, I do want to address one thing. If you haven't already seen it on BJ Investigates, my other channel, which I posted a video yesterday, the Lima, Amanda Rabb, Bam Margera, Dahlia, and Dia saga has escalated. Long story short, Lima is suing me. Before we move on, I just want to remind everyone of what the facts of this story are. And don't take my word for it. Go look it up yourself. In 2020, Amanda Rabb was put into a court-ordered treatment program. Now, this was after Lima, Larry, which was Amanda's dad, and seemingly Mark Laita worked together to try and put Amanda into an LPS conservatorship.
So early morning, 8:30, she's been locked up now for a few weeks. She has a court date, but we have to petition to try to get conservatorship. And Miss Lima shows up and petitions. Her appearance and her presence made the difference.
That didn't work out. So then they just kind of got her in some court-ordered treatment thing.
All right, Lima and Larry. So we had Amanda's final court hearing this morning, which is a big day. A couple things in Amanda's future were hinging on what the judge said today.
So originally, as discussed in the last video, we were going for an LPS conservatorship, and the purpose was to get Amanda committed to a program and to ensure that we had power of attorney to make the decisions for Amanda. We weren't able to push the conservatorship through, and we diverted to put in a court order for Amanda to complete 1 year of treatment. So she risks that if she doesn't complete it, she goes back to jail.
Amanda was facing 3 years in prison if she were to not complete this program, okay?
So you have to be here, how long, like a year, right?
6 months.
Yeah, but I think a year total just before you have to be clean, I guess, for a year before you'll be free from the risk of going back to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in my opinion, Amanda didn't really have any choice. It was Lima or jail. I mean, what would you pick if you didn't know any better? So Lima publicly took responsibility for Amanda's treatment and care. Within months of taking over that responsibility, Lima transferred Amanda across state lines into Las Vegas, Nevada, into a treatment center called Desert Hope. In April 2021, Amanda began using Lima's experimental virtual reality treatment program.
We're going to use Amanda as a case study.
That was allegedly supposed to help her with her cravings and her addiction.
Oh my God! What the f? Oh! Oh my God!
Amanda.
Calm down.
1 month later, in May 2021, Amanda Rabb was found dead in her bed at the Desert Hope Treatment Center. A few days after that, Lima appears on Soft White Underbelly and tells Mark Laita and all of his millions of subscribers that Amanda Rabb had nothing but Tylenol in her system.
She had passed away. It's been a really, really big shock for us. And so I think I know that they did a toxicology report. All she had in her system was Tylenol.
4 months later, right around the time that the official toxicology autopsy results would have been finalized after having 3 separate toxicology reports done on this woman, Albert Monero Jr., another ARA employee, appeared on another podcast, and he allowed the host to say Amanda had nothing but Tylenol in her system.
And then unfortunately, she passed away at the facility.
Yeah.
She'd had so many physical issues prior that, it kind of caught up to her, unfortunately.
They just found her, and they did a toxicology test, and she didn't have anything but like Tylenol in her system. So
the way I look at it, and her father, who I'm very close with now, looks at it, is that she was ready to go to God, and she had done what she needed to do here, and she was going to make a lot more waves up there with her story, and she wouldn't have to worry about the struggle anymore.
Wow.
Now, when I started pointing that out, that clip of that podcast just disappeared from the internet. But we have a woman starting to use experimental virtual reality treatment program in April. She's dead in May. A few days later, Lima says she had nothing but Tylenol in her system. 4 months later, another person says that there was only Tylenol in the system. And then 3 more months later, Lima finally comes back on Soft White Underbelly to tell the autopsy results. Now, in this video that Lima appears in, it's called Amanda's Autopsy Results -Lima, and has a big picture of Lima as the thumbnail. As soon as that video starts, now this is December, this is 7 months after Amanda died, 7 months. 7 months after Lima said nothing but Tylenol in her system. She comes on Mark's channel with pieces of paper in her hand and on a video called Autopsy Results. Amanda's autopsy results. And she's holding papers in her hand. Mark Laita says to her, "So we finally have Amanda's autopsy results." Lima says, "Yes, we do."
So we have the autopsy results for Amanda.
Yes, we do.
Then she proceeds to say, "I'm just going to read word for word from what we got."
And so I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got.
I'm just going to read word for word of what we got on a video called Autopsy Results, y'all. Then, as you know, she said the cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
And also, as you know, the cause of death was not marked as a seizure disorder. It was not. We have the publicly available autopsy results. Let me get them for you. Here they are right here. As you can see, Amanda Rabb. Now, Lima said the cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder. There was some lack of evidence. They wanted to mark it as this. They didn't mark it. All this something about they wanted.
They believe that it was post-traumatic post-traumatic epilepsy, but they couldn't mark it as post-traumatic epilepsy because of a lack of evidence. So they couldn't tell if the seizures are from past drug use or traumatic brain injury from the assaults, since the assaults were not well documented. And then in brackets, they put police reports or hospital records. And so they just marked it as a seizure disorder. If they had gone the route of doing post-traumatic epilepsy, if the traumatic brain injury and the assaults were well documented, they would have most likely marked it as a homicide. So that was a major wake-up call.
I don't know about all that. But what I do know, because it's written here in black and white, is her cause of death was not marked as a seizure disorder. In fact, it was marked as cardiac arrhythmia, with complicating factors being hypertension, obesity, and schizophrenia. And so 7 months after the woman died, 3 months after these results were available, 3 different autopsy results, all of them show no Tylenol in Amanda's system, many more medications other than Tylenol, and shows that the cause of death has nothing to do with a seizure disorder, nothing to do with a seizure, and nothing to do with epilepsy. Then Lima goes on to talk about all this trauma from the streets. There's no evidence of traumatic injury. She's talking about traumatic brain injury, but that's not listed as a contributing factor. And so what I started doing was making videos about that and calling Lima's statements lies. But I guess since we live in the upside down clown world, Lima believes that me calling her statements lies is defamatory. So now here I am for the past 3-4 weeks stuck in a position of like, damn, do I need to hide the truth from we the people in order to protect myself? I just can't do it, y'all. I just can't do it. So I'm gonna have to try and fight this. It would literally take 100% of my waking moments on earth to do it. Lima seems to be very well resourced. I don't know who just has the money out of their pocket to afford a lawyer like this, because I promise y'all I do not. So I am coming to y'all for the first time asking for your help. I really need some legal assistance. I need people who are trained and prepared to fight against celebrity defamation lawyers. And I do have a great legal team that I trust, who's competent, and I think will do the job. On top of the fact that the truth's on our side. But y'all know how these legal fights can go. You know how it can happen once you end up in court. One little motion can end up costing you $100,000. I'm prepared to take this all away, but I really do need help. I don't really like asking for stuff. I do not like asking for stuff. I don't like needing help. Y'all know I do not. But in order for me to keep telling this story, and in order for me to protect my rights, in order for me to protect my own freedom of speech, my journalism, the freedom of the press, I need help. I don't like asking for help, but here I am. So if you support this journalism, if you want to see this story go all the way and you want to help, I have posted the legal fund below. If you want to donate to the legal fund, please donate to specifically this link. And every penny that I get is going straight to lawyers. I did not want to go to court. I told y'all I didn't. Alas, here we are. What I can tell you is they're not going to scare me. I will not be frightened, deterred, hindered, or stopped. I am not afraid, because I am doing what I was put on this earth to do. And that is shine a bright light on the truth. Somebody said sunlight is the best disinfectant, and I agree. So while I'm fighting this case, I would really appreciate your support. If you can't contribute financially, I totally understand. If you could like, share, comment, get the story out, go to BJ Investigates, watch those videos again in the series, because I am far from done. I have a lot more to say about this case. And I intend to continue reporting on it, because that is what I am created to do. Now, we do have part 2 coming soon. And I really appreciate y'all's support and liking that one, sharing that one, being there for the premiere and all of that, because let's get this story up there. She might be able to silence one person. She might be able to silence 10, but she cannot silence all of us. And this story needs to be told. Amanda Rabb deserves justice for what happened to her. The true story needs to come out, and it shouldn't be the person who has the most money gets to decide the narrative. The truth should decide the narrative. Not the person who has the most money, not the person who has the strongest financial backing. It should be the truth. So help me take a stand. We're not going to live in this upside down clown world where the truth ain't the truth and lies ain't lies. I'm not doing it. Facts ain't defamation.
Thank you all for joining us today as we gather to celebrate the incredible yet tragically short life of Amanda Rabb.
Some people don't get the chance to get older. Some people have their lives taken from them without their consent.
Y'all, she is literally screaming for help and telling us.
Oh my God!
pull a fast one on me. I don't want no girl close to my age doing my thoughts and video gaming me, so.
We're going to be documenting exactly how we're getting Amanda into treatment.
When I was spoken, I'm like in the cut, and then I'm gonna get murdered. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm behind the scenes, I'm annoying everybody, and then I get murdered.
She had passed away. They did the autopsy, they looked at her medical records. And so I'm just gonna read it word for word of what we got.
Myself and the investigation team have requested Amanda's autopsy report.
The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder.
What the fuck? Oh!
They most certainly did not mark it as a seizure disorder.